Welcome back. A proposed bill in New York would allow police officers to submit you to a so-called textalyzer test after a car crash. That means that police would scan your phone to see if you were texting and driving, just like a breathalyzer test for drinking and driving. Is the textalyzer test to crack smartphones a good idea? And what are the financial and legal implications? Joining us right now, former prosecutor Katie Phang. Katie, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
The reason we raise the question if this is a good idea, obviously nobody wants to see texting and driving, but the reason that we ask the question is because I could have, used Siri and spoken into my phone, right? I could have done that. I could have downloaded something earlier at a red light and it's still moving. So there might be activity on my phone, which doesn't necessarily mean I was texting.
But Maria, if you're actually doing any of those things that you just said, you actually would also still be in violation of this proposed New York bill. This proposed bill tracks the language from New York's current law on distracted talking, texting, and driving. It includes checking out the internet, texting, looking at photos, talking on the phone. So anything you just said would actually implicate you in this law.
Okay, so absolutely no gray area here is what you're saying, Katie.
You know, the language is a little bit too extreme, and frankly, it raises all of the questions that you just asked, and it really will create a legal challenge if you go to court. Frankly, what if you actually weren't driving the car? That's the only way that you're going to be found liable under this particular statute. It would cause a civil infraction with civil penalties, but more importantly, it would cause a license suspension of 12 months the first time you violate, and it would be 18 months of your license revocation if you've done it the second time within 5 years.
I don't know about you, Sandra. I frankly like it. I think it's.
I know where you're coming from, because my gut reaction is it terrifies me every time I'm driving a car and I look to my right, I look to my left, and somebody is texting, and it just scares me, Maria. However, privacy needs to be protected, and I do not know or do not have faith that the government or these police forces would use this in the correct way and wouldn't take advantage of this in a way that was inappropriate. For example, if you had been texting, what was that? What was the exchange of information? Will that then be also used against you?
Wow, that's a good point.
I think it's a great argument, but, we're trying to figure this out in so many different ways that, you have technology on one side coming into our lives in so many areas, and then we also need our privacy. So I think that's going to continue to be played out, but anything that's going to protect the overall public, I'm with you guys.
I think the safety far outweighs the privacy issue in this isolated incident. I do a lot of driving, and it's very frustrating to either be behind or you go into intersections, you're always looking left and right more cautiously. I mean, it really have to be a much more defensive driver today with that going on, I think.
And obviously, Katie, for them to actually put this bill to the fore, it tells you that we've seen enough accidents as a result of texting that this has become really dangerous.
Yeah, nobody disputes that the actual policy reasons behind the bill are noble, powerful, impactful. But the privacy concerns that are raised are legitimate ones. It's going to spawn a whole new group of criminal defense attorneys that came to the forefront during the breathalyzer introduction. They're going to challenge the reliability and the accuracy of these machines. But, guys, the Celebrite is the company. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of a Japanese company called Suncor. Suncor's stock went up 40% after it was insinuated that Celebrite was used by the FBI to hack into the San Bernardino shooter's iPhone, which caused that huge Apple, controversy and that legal battle. So if that's the case, Celebrite, listen, it has a 55% market share of the U.S. mobile forensics market. It's a legitimate company with serious tech. I'd be worried if I was going to be, a cell phone user and the police are saying, I'm not going to big brother you, I'm really not going to check into what you were doing, but they will.
As another reason to tout personal accountability, personal responsibility. Can't we all just do the right thing? Don't text unless your car is in park.
Bottom line. And you're a car guy. You're telling me that technology is going to be taking over our car. At some point, it might just be in the car. You will know what's going on just from the technology in your car.
Well, every OEM, every manufacturer is making significant advances in the Internet of Things, as you were mentioning. GM has a big program going out in Silicon Valley to increase the connectivity in the connected car.
Yeah, for sure. Katie, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Always. Thanks, guys.
Important conversation. Katie Phang there. Coming up.